Hello everybody, Sparkster1701 here, and this weekend is Pete's Robot Convention down in Covington, Kentucky. I, of course, will be there, but before I get down and start looking for more giant robots to show you, thought we'd take another look at a SIEGE toy and its G1 counterpart. This time around, we're looking at a fan favorite, Starscream. And as you can see, there is considerable difference between the two toys, especially namely that the newer one is somewhat larger than the original, so that's a nice improvement. And of course the body's built a little bit better, so we don't have the wear and tear that the old one suffers from, because this will not lock in anymore. To do that, we'd have to make Starscream a cone head, and then it'll stay. But I know that's blasphemous to the fans, so we won't do that. But then we got the body hanging there limp. And of course, another bit of good news, especially for you collectors out there, this new Starscream does not have a ton of pieces like the Generation 1 versions were infamous for, as all those pieces make them very difficult to obtain on the market. How else is he improved? Well, there is the obvious. In articulation, G1 Starscream could only move his arms, and of course how well you move the arms depended on how the wings were. So he could rotate the arm basically all the way, but to do that, as you've seen, we had to take the wing off to get it out of the way. So that does restrict all that you can do with him. Meanwhile, new Starscream has considerably more articulation. He can rotate his head from side to side. It is a little stiff. And his head is on a ball joint a little bit, so it can look up and down some. If we fold his wings back, he will be able to rotate his arm at the shoulder all the way. I know it's still moving his wings, but at least it's just moving the wings. He also can bend his arm at the elbow all the way up to his shoulder. And he does have a swivel-armed battle grip, allowing him to move his arm at the bicep. And of course there is some limited articulation at his wrist. He can twist at the hip, like so. Again, portions of his backside get in his way and limit how much he can do, but you can at least do that much. You can put his legs out to the sides like so. He can do a full splits. He can raise his leg up at the hip about so far, and he can bend his knee a little more than 90 degrees. So he's got quite an impressive amount of motion on him as compared to his original toy. So this will definitely be a treat for the fans. Of course, what will be an even bigger treat for the fans is the alternate mode. So let's flip these guys into alternate mode and take a look. Now here we go, folks, with Starscream in his alternate mode, and wow, what a considerable difference we've gotten. Of course, the Generation 1 version was taken from an Earth mode, so he becomes an F-15 Eagle, whereas the Siege version over here becomes the Tetrad Fighter that he and his Seekers were famous for being in the opening moments of the Transformers cartoon. So it's kind of, this is something we definitely got to get a look at. Now, it isn't too terribly bad. I mean, I know the biggest gripe about it online is, of course, the fact that the legs are basically hanging underneath. But all in all, I think they did a fairly reasonable job with what they had to work with and how they made it. And of course, something else to point out here is the Decepticon symbol is different as well. It's got the more evil eye look that Michael Bay pioneered in his movies, unlike the original one, which really isn't as evil looking. So, love it or hate it, folks, Michael Bay's movies are here to stay with us, as they've now been put on one of our toys. What a shame. But then again, we haven't seen the last of this mold in particular. Just like with this one, it will be repainted. Thundercracker is due out at some point this year. I'm guessing mid to late summer is when he's going to be released. There has been announced that Skywarp will also be released, but he's going to be a special pack, so nothing has been said about it yet. And there'll be another special seeker called Redwing that will be an exclusive. I believe that's going to be an Amazon exclusive, but don't hold me to that. I just know that they did recently announce Redwing. And I know he's an exclusive, but I won't swear that he's an Amazon exclusive. So, just like in the G1 line, we haven't seen the last of this toy. Take that as you may. All in all, though, I do like what they've done with Starscream, especially with the battle damage. As you can see, as you paid attention in both modes, he is literally covered in it. So, Starscream's been in a lot of scrapes and probably been shot down a few times. Or for those of us who enjoyed the cartoon a lot, he's been beaten up by Megatron a few times. So, I like it. It's not the best, I'll give it that. But, I think it's a noble attempt to make one and still keep the price pretty reasonable. And that concludes my comparison review of Starscream, the original G1 and his new Siege version. I hope you all enjoyed it. If you liked this video, please leave me a thumbs up here on YouTube. If you're new to my channel, please hit the subscribe button down below and ring the notification bell so you'll be notified when I post more content. And please also share your thoughts about Starscream in the comments down below. This is Sparkster1701 saying I'm going to head on down to RoboCon, so I will catch you all later.